Late Sunday night, after a busy week in Saudi Arabia, boxers Tommy Fury and Jake Paul went into the ring to settle a score and find out who was telling the truth. After 8 brutal, tough, violent, and honest rounds of fighting, the fight was decided in favor of Fury by a split decision. Most likely, they both found out the truth because of the fight. It was always going to be messy and fun, but it was never going to be a masterpiece of skill and technique. Most of the time, the two fighters hit each other on the break, held each other down, rubbed their heads together, and gripped each other. Even though the process was hard, it was never dull. Fury won for the 10th time in his short career as a pro boxer, and Paul lost for the first time in 7 fights. During the whole week, it was way too easy to forget that they are complete and utter beginners. Paul and Fury helped make this fight seem like the fight of the century. It was way too easy to forget that Fury is only 23, that he just had a baby, and that he's part of the Fury fighting clan. The young man was under a lot of pressure, which made him cry at the end of the race. They had to leave the comfort zones they'd built up in boxing, and there were times when it looked like they were struggling. Paul just didn't know how to get close enough to let go with his hands, and Fury was able to throw him off quickly by taking one step to the side of the ring. Paul missed his shot because of this. Fury won the fight with a dozen well-placed jabs, and Paul's lack of experience in the ring was his downfall. The fight, thankfully, had a lot more going on than just one guy swinging and the other guy jabbing him a few times each round. It was much more complicated than that. It started out under a dark sky in the desert, with a lot of hope and the chance of making a lot of money, which caused the boxing world to split. But in just 20 seconds, it was clear that none of the brazen talk, promises, or threats that either boxer had made about crushing knockouts would ever come true. How do you feel? It was a big deal. Paul looked confused when Fury moved his feet, and Fury grabbed Paul hard when Paul got close. This is exactly what two new fighters would have done if the fight had happened at York Hall over 8 rounds with no one watching. Critics were worried that the two were paying the most and splitting as much as $20 million or 16.6 million pounds between them. The build-up to the fight both helped it happen and made it worse. Tyson Fury, who is the world heavyweight champion for the WBC and Tommy's older brother, said, "Tommy boxed his ears off. Tommy punched him in the ears. The speaker said, he was under a lot of stress and I'm proud of him." Paul's score went down by 1 point in the 5th round because he hit Fury in the back of the head. It was a shot that he made because he was frustrated, not because he wanted to hurt someone. In the 6th round of the fight, Fury lost the point because he kept pinning Paul to the ground. Both deductions were unfair and did nothing but stop the fight from going on as it should. In the 8th round, Paul got close to Fury and hit him with a jab, which put him down. Fury wasn't hurt, but when he got up after being knocked down, he was angry. Even though it was a legal knockdown that gave Paul an extra point, he couldn't get control of the fight back at that point. In the last round, they both showed signs of being very tired, which made sense. 2 of the judges gave the fight to Fury, giving him a score of 3 points. However, the 3rd judge gave the fight to Paul, giving him a score of just 1 point. It was a close fight, and sometimes it was hard to tell who won. However, after 8 rounds and a lot of scrutiny, it was clear that Fury had done enough to win. Even though the couple got a lot of attention, the sport did not end as many people thought it would. This may be because in the end, they were shown to be brave but inexperienced beginners. In the Diriyah ring, there was no feeling of guilt. Instead, it was just an honest way to show how good they were. Both of them have a very, very long way to go, and there was talk about having a rematch, which makes perfect sense. In Saudi Arabia, the critics laughed late into the night as they watched the battle, and in particular, Paul lost. A lot of hype and promises were made. After losing to Tommy Fury by a split decision, Jake Paul has said he will use the clause in his contract with Fury that allows him to fight again. After 8 rounds of tough competition in Riyadh's Diriyah Arena, 2 of the 3 judges all agreed that Tyson Fury was the winner. The winner was named Fury. During the middle rounds, both men lost points, and Paul even knocked Fury down in the 8th round, but that wasn't enough for him to lose the fight on points. After the fight, which happened after 2 delays and a lot of trash talking over the course of 2.5 years, Fury was full of emotion as he celebrated his win. When asked about how many times he had to change the date of the fight, he said, "Everyone thought I was running away from fear. Tonight, I made my own history. I am Tommy Fury," the main character said. "I'd like to dedicate this fight to my wife and my new daughter Bambi, who's at home. I love you." Paul, a former YouTuber who's now a boxer, was not sure about the outcome and asked Fury to run it again. The American told Fury that he had won and said, "All due respect to Tommy, he won. Don't judge me by what I've won, judge me by what I've lost." Two of the judges gave me a round score of 10-8, and I'm not sure if I agree with their choice, but I've already won in my own life. I've come a long way, even further than I ever thought I would. There's no doubt that this will make you feel small. Paul went on to say that he'd been hurt and sick during his training camp, but he wasn't going to make any excuses because he'd already given up. Given how much money's at stake, it wouldn't be surprising to see them go at it again. Paul's fight purse was about $3.2 million, and he also got 65% of the money from pay-per-view. With sponsorships, this brought his prize money to $8.6 million. Reports say that Fury won a purse of $2 million and 35% of the pay-per-view portion, giving him a total of almost $4.5 million to take home. Tyson Fury was clearly impressed by how hard Jake Paul tried in the fight with Tommy Fury. Mike Tyson was there to watch the fight, and Top Rank Boxing's YouTube account has a video of him talking to Paul right after the fight, before the winner was announced. "Good fight, Jake. I was really impressed. Well done," exclaimed Tyson as he gave Paul a big hug. When asked what he thought of Tommy's win, Tyson said, "Sweet as Tropicana." The clip also shows Mike Tyson's immediate reaction at ringside, where he can be seen grinning from ear to ear and saying, "Excitement!" On the night of the fight, Tommy and Paul had a heartwarming moment of respect in the ring when Tommy went up to his American opponent Paul and said, "I have nothing but love and respect for you, brother. Thank you for a great lead-up and a great fight, but this love and respect could change if the couple decides to fight again, as Paul seems to want." Paul told the press at the press conference after the fight, "I'm going back for this rematch. I just talked to Tommy in the medical room and he said, let's go, let's do it again. He's up for it, so that will be the main focus. I'm going to show that I can win a fight that's harder than the one I had tonight." Tommy said that the knockout was caused by a slip in the days after the fight, but ringside footage shows another side of what happened and brought the issue back up. That was all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more.